Hello guys, sorry I came back and once again. So I titled the video, what is a remaster, remake, and a reimagine? Because apparently to this date, after 20 plus years of having these things, no one knows what it is. Everybody's just confused, and everybody's I just don't know. So let me break it down to you real quick and simple. A remaster is anything like the Jack and Dexter collection, Sly Cooper HD collection, Sleeping Dogs on PS4, the Naruto Storm games on PS4. All those are remastered because it's just slightly updating the graphics and just basically porting the game over. Those are what they are. Or even like another example, the Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, that are released backwards because nobody wanted. Everybody's just gonna buy 4 anyway. Those are remasters. Quite simply, that's just what they are. There's no complications. There's no 12 different ways to shape it up. It is a remaster. Same game, updated graphics on a new system, remastered. Same thing The Last of Us on PS4, remastered before they butchered it and remade the different subject. But those are remasters, alright? So from this point forward, there should be no more confusions. There should be no more questioning what it is. Those are remasters. Now, what is a remake? Because this is the true thing that's been confusing some people. A remake is remaking the same game with updated graphics, and maybe you might update the controls and fix a few bugs. That is a remake. A remake does not change the story. The remake does not change the gameplay. The remake don't add dialogue like it's Dead Space. The remake is the same. It doesn't butcher the lighting. It doesn't change things. That's a remake. Like the Crash and Spyro trilogy, those are remakes. Now technically, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes will be considered a remake, but it can't because it butchered and changed the script. You should have left the script alone. That would turn it into the last thing. But those are remakes. It's rebuilt from the ground up with better graphics. All those things contribute to be a remake. Somebody said, what about The Last of Us Part 1? They butchered people's faces, so no. Supposed to be the same thing. Just making it whatever you want. That's not a remake. I buy a remake to replay the same game with a few updated features, but overall, it's the same damn game, and it's the exact same experience. There's no updating things. There's no butchering and changing the script. It's the same. Similar to Spider-Man on PC or PS4 or PS5. Those are remasters. Those are ports. That is the same game. I don't see why this has turned into this big complicated issue of what defines a remake, what defines a the last option, because it's just that. If it's a port with updated graphics, it's a reimagining. A remake is the exact same game. You might add some new features, but by default, it's the same game, the same script, and the exact same story. Now, what is a reimagining? The reimagining is also another a good case for a remake is Resident Evil 1 on PS4. That is a remake. That's the same game, updated graphics, same script. That is what you call a remake. But you know what's not a remake? As I'm about to get into. Resident Evil 2 is not a remake. Resident Evil 3 is not a remake. Resident Evil 4, the upcoming one, is not an effing remake because Leon does not battle people with a knife against somebody with a chainsaw. That's stupid. Who thought that was a good idea? Yeah. When y'all said Resident Evil 4 remake, people was expecting the same game, but then again, at that point, after you butchered the third game and did whatever with the second game, then what did people expect? That is not a remake. Giving Isaac a voice in Dead Space is not a remake because the original did not have a voice. Dumb bastards. So it's not a remake, it's a reimagining. That means you're rebuilding the game from the ground up, but you decide to change things and major features of the game because you decide to feel like it, and it's just people don't put it by it. Those are reimaginings. Time and time again, we've gotten effing reimaginings, and they're called remakes. They are not remakes, they're originality. A remake is the exact same game. And the Resident Evil franchise is the perfect example of this. Perfect. It's perfection. What they're doing with Dead Space is a perfect example of this. What they did with The Last of Us by butchering people's faces is the perfect example of this. But even then again, you can even argue the PS5 Spider-Man does not count as a remaster to a certain degree, but it still does count. Like, why they change his face for? I'm not hearing that whole shenanigans where it was the actors. Bullshit. One moment he looks kind of like Andrew Garfield, the next moment like Tom Holland. That was a mistake? Really? And why you gotta lie about it? Why you gotta lie about it? Cause there's no way you butchered the actor's face that badly. We don't gotta change nobody else's face. Are you serious? So Mary Jane's, Otto Octavius, Aunt May, and all these other characters, Miles, everybody else in the game is the exact same. Besides from Spider-Man, the main key character, you butchered that character's face, but nobody else's. I guess you think we're stupid, Insomniac. But someone played the Vince McMahon clip. We're tired of having your intelligence insulted. But yeah, I think you pretty much get the premise of what I'm talking about here. Those games are reimaginings. Those games are not the same thing. They're just not. And changing key features of the game does not make it a remake. It's a reimagining, but the only reason they call it a remake because I gotta get that money. I gotta get that bread. If you say reimagining, people go into with different expectations, and not as many people may play the game. We gotta sell the fact that it's gonna be the same game, while it's not being the same game, and then just wish for the best. Another example of a remake is Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. As far as I know, that's the exact same campaign, just with updated graphics. Those are remakes. The multiplayer, on the other hand, there's just no. The campaign that's a remake of the main story. So those are the differences. I don't see why this thing is that complicated to comprehend or understand, or why people so easily bought into marketing. And at this point, I'm starting to feel bad for people who get tricked and fooled. I'm sorry. If you keep falling for the same damn thing for 10,000, even in a 10-year period, maybe you deserve it. Oh, microtransactions not gonna be bad. Now it's everywhere. What happened now? And then they don't even complain about it anymore. It's just the way things is. Well, you don't gotta accept it to be that way. The whole lightning the bottle thing is a lie. You know why? There's a lot of things that was supposed to be a lightning in the bottle, and it didn't go anywhere. Like the metaverse, no one's taking that shit seriously. Like NFTs and cryptocurrency, no one's taking that shit seriously. I thought it was supposed to be lightning in the bottle. What happened? Why is this stuff failing? Why is this stuff crashing and burning? What about the Google HoloLens? Supposed to bring us to this next atmosphere? Look what you do with Minecraft. It's going to change the landscape of gaming. Did it? Same thing with VR. Oh, it's going to change a whole bunch of things. 90% of the games that come out aren't even VR. And even then, the VR they have still looks similar to me. They haven't done some type of mind-blowing thing with it. The story don't last more than what, a few good hours, at most. And most of them are just like an arcade playing game. Get your quick fun out of it. There's no disrespect to Nuclear Throne or Binding of Isaac, but those are, you put your hours in and you go on. That's not like a story-driven game. Nothing wrong with it. I love Nuclear Throne. I got no problem with Buzz and Isaac, but it's just a different type of game. Will Hotline Miami count? Or Steph Clone in the Dark World? I don't know. That's where the classification gets complicated, but it's just the arcade is. I want to say like a flat-out arcade game, but the arcade is to a certain degree. But yeah, those are the differences. I don't see why this is just a complicated issue of what this is, aside from people being lied to in marketing. And also at this point, I fully believe that these companies are getting paid to do this stuff by somebody. I came up with this before, then I saw like some other YouTuber come up with a similar theory. Maybe he got some facts behind it and finished watching the video. But there is no way you can intentionally keep doing this stuff and people don't like it. Where are you getting this money from? My key theories is they're using the COVID as an insurance write-up. Oh, why would it fail? Because why wouldn't it fail? Because it's COVID. But Godzilla vs. Kong brought in like 30 million. Not 30, 300 million. COVID. So you're going to use it all as the COVID write-offs, and well, we're still recovering from COVID, and just cashing in the insurance money while butchering franchises left and right. Alright then, buddy-o. I could finally understand, but you and the rest of your elite Manchester Black are selling. I finally get it. It finally all makes sense to me now. And I love that mentality. Well, you don't know how it's going to turn out. You criticize it. You should just shut up. So I can't give my personal opinion, but you have your right to give your personal opinion about my personal opinion? That's stupid. Only certain opinions. That's dumb. And worse part about some of these would be full-grown adults. A grown-ass idiot. There's nothing worse than a grown dummy. Look, you don't have to be the smartest man in the world, all right? But never be a grown dummy. Never be that. Never be a grown idiot. Cause the shit's fucking embarrassing, and it's sad. Cause what you gonna be 50 years old still doing the easy? Like, you don't know how many 50-year-old grown children are out there walking the world right now. They'll be the same people that try to claim my generation was perfect. You was doing this stuff. You selling crack rocks, huh? What about that? Your grandparents' generation wasn't selling no crack rocks. Even heroin wasn't as mind-blowing or destructive or cultural taking over as crack rock and crack cocaine, on which they had long lasting for over 30 plus years. Heroin is not even a hardcore drug like that. As in, when you're into heroin, you're already at the end of the road, all right? You're you're already at the end of the road. When you say heroin, let's not get taken seriously. Crack cocaine, it's just as destructive, but it reach more people. It spread out to a wider audience of the crack cocaine. But hey, but somehow your generation was better too. All right then, Mr. Crack Cocaine Man, Mr. Prostitute Man. All right, I see how it is. I see how it is. And also, they also has created an interesting complex. And the only reason are people defending some of these games is not because they actually care. They want to feel like their era of games aren't bad and they're all trash. And since they're a part of my childhood, there's no way these games will be bad. I want my iconic moment. Instead of letting it happen naturally, they want to artificially build it and let nobody criticize it because these are my games of my generation until I turn 35 years old and join the rest of the internet crowd in destroying them. Why does everybody hate Avatar? For no reason. They just hate it because it's just for some reason. It's not even a bad film. It's not even trash, but somehow the movie's bad because it's just bad. But aren't these the same people who preach peer pressure? Aren't these the same people that say don't follow the crowd? Aren't these the same people who say be independent and be your own leader while everybody's being a follower? Let's be honest. When you say everybody needs to be a leader, you're not talking about everybody in the room. You're talking about there's certain people inside the room that are capable of being leaders. Everybody else is just throwaways. It's messed up. That's a sad reality. When people say, well, your ideas can come true, they're not talking about everybody. They're talking about the few people who have the capabilities of actually doing it, whether it's through purely hard work and ambition or luck. Either way, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you're going to make it eventually. But sadly, like anything in life, it's a meat grinder. People going in one end and meat come out the other. And which, one of the key reasons I don't like Griffiths is for that whole logic of he sit there and act like he care, where he has destroyed crippled dreams left and right. And Corcus is a very sad example of it, whether you like the character or not. When he was trying to tell Guts what the whole dream thing, Judah pretty much explained that was from personal experience. And now he's latched on the Griffiths dream to kind of sort of halfway get what he wants. And maybe he might feel satisfied that he actually did something in life. Another broken man. Another pile of meat to the meat grinder. And it's getting worse. More and more people are going to the meat grinder. More and more. These are the same people who be like in a few... Remember this, Batman. Actually, I'm gonna have to keep this for a separate video. I'm gonna keep it for a separate video. But overall, those are what the difference between a remake, a remaster, and a reimaging are. It's quite simple. It is a very simple thing to understand. So let's recap, boys and girls. What is a remaster? A remaster is a port of upgraded graphics of the same game. It's like The Last of Us remaster on the PS4 initially, not the remake. That's called Part 1. It's like the Sly Cooper or the Jack and Dexter's or the Yeah, pretty much those type of ports, or it's like an HD remaster, or the God of War 2 and Ghost of Sparta collection. Those are remakes, reports. God of War 3 is just a remaster. Sleeping Dogs is just a remaster. Those are remasters onto brand new consoles. Now, what is a remake, boys and girls? Like a Resident Evil 4, and like Resident Evil on Resident Evil on PS4. That Resident Evil 1 is the only remake that Capcom has ever made. The only one. And it is the exact same game, the exact same graphics. They may fix a few problems of the previous game or added a new feature, but overall, it's the exact same game. Exact same game. So what is a reimagining? Those are your Resident Evil 2s, 3s, 4 remakes, Dead Space remake. Those are reimaginings. Those aren't the same game. Now there are a lot more that can go into this whole thing, but it's something else that's more or less it. That's it. So if you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.